And welcome back to round number 2. Looks like we have spirits on the right and
Titanshift.
Titanshift.
The exciting Titanshift.
Sometimes I put my forehead on the table and win.
Yeah. We love you, Brad, but also... Huh?
I think this is a turn 1 Aether Vial from a Hallowed Fountain.
Looks like it, yes. I don't know how I feel about Aether Vial in the Spirits deck. It's interesting.
It is interesting. So, like, a lot of your proactive threats already have flash. So
Also, Rattle Chains gives them flash.
yeah,
So it's interesting.
I understand the value aspect, right?
For sure. I like it in the sense that, like, it lets you play at instant speed and use your mana, kind of in the akin to Merfolk. But I'm kind of with you in the same sense, like, I don't know why we want to play that much at instant speed. We have so much protection from things like Wrath that it just feels a bit,
Loose.
I don't know, heavy-handed.
Loosey-goosey.
Yeah.
Titanshift player says, here's this 1/1, dude.
Yeah, well, unbeatable. Screw a Tribe Elder.
Yeah, actually unkillable.
Yeah. Sudden Shock does a number on this guy.
Oh, please, sudden shock
Please
me.
do it. Emery, you won't, but do it. Island for Emery, see if he has anything good to follow up with.
It looks like he has at least one other vial in hand.
Emery, one of the best card flickers in the world.
Yeah. Fastest.
If you
flicker
ask
in the
him.
West.
Yeah.
I think that's the new Lord, right?
It is Spirit Lord. I should know the name of it by now.
Whatever. It's like a 1/3?
It is a 1/3, which is one of the weirdest Lord stats we've ever seen. But
that's all right. It's 1/3 for 2 with flying. Other spirits get +1/+1.
Yep. Correct.
Loose.
For
Some
sure.
say that that's what brought this deck together, but
It definitely elevated this deck from sort of a deck that you could see and it could win to a deck that was playable.
playable. I think that's the correct term.
Yeah. I'm not going to sit here and call it very good, but it definitely is playable.
So the sacking of Steve gets us a mountain.
Yeah.
Land return says 4 mana.
Shocking. What are we doing with our 4 mana? 4 mana pass.
All right. So I see a Steve in his hand. I see a Primeval Titan, I think.
Yeah.
No, or a Summoner's Pact, one of the two.
Steve is interesting here.
Steve?
I wouldn't hate pacting for a second, Steve. Oh, Prismatic Omen.
Oh, sure.
That makes sense.
Now you're dead.
Actually, though, very close to it.
I don't think the new Spirits list is playing any like counters other than Mausoleum Wanderer.
Yeah.
Well, 3 Lords.
Is Emery just shipping in with a bunch of Lords?
It's 4 damage.
It's not that impressive, but I understand. It's actually 6, I guess.
Well, in this case,
it's 3 at this point. Nobody knows.
No. It's other spirits, right?
Correct. He has 2 Lords.
Oh, it's a 1/3. We talked about that.
Right.
We discussed that.
Yeah. That said, Emery is shields down for this Titan that has kind of come into play.
Get Forest.
Which is also a mountain.
Right.
And an island.
Everything. Is it a waste? No. It's just basic.
No. It's not a waste.
Boo Wizards.
Yeah. They had to go around and mess around with waste.
That was an easy errata, too. I could have just been like...
Yeah.
Every land.
Honestly, yeah. So that's, I think Brad does, I don't know if he needs the next, I'm not saying the next land, I don't know if he needs his 6th land or if he has it in hand. But, Through the Breach would be good here. Oh, he does have it. They always have it. 4 mana for Scape Shift. Oh. Peter, do you know how much damage this is?
Enough.
72.
Oh, good.
Yeah, this is a lot of damage.
Yep.
Flex Seal will not stop this amount of damage.
It could try. It stops
definitely could try. Brad should have 4 Valakuts in his deck, but I suppose he does not.
I mean, why would you? Like
so it's
3
not.
is
So it's not
enough.
72. It's actually 6 times. It's only 36.
Oh, that's it.
Only 36. It's all going in Emery's Dome.
And we'll go to the next one.
Yeah, easy peasy. Oh yeah.
I've got all these things.
Show him what you had.
I didn't play them though.
Yeah.
That's okay. I mean, if I was a Merfolk player and I would slam 3 Lords in a row, like,
oh, for sure.
You're sitting pretty.
Oh, for sure.
Spirits, though, not so much.
I agree. Also, like, spirits have things that can interact, so maybe don't show your opponent what you had. I think I saw Brad have Bloodbraid off of this deck.
Dampening? Yeah, don't bring that card in.
Dampening Sphere's not ideal.
No.
It's not good.
Was that Spreading Seas? Rest
Possibly.
in peace.
Yeah, none of Emery's cards look
Stunning
that appealing here.
Silence.
Brad's gonna have some things. Anger of the Gods is one of the better things you can be doing.
Oh, yeah.
It's a very powerful one. Actually, if he has Fire Spout, that one's pretty sweet.
Yeah, just kill everything in the air and not on the ground.
Yeah. It's
Powerful.
definitely a reasonable one. Trying to think what else. I don't know. This is kind of straightforward. Brad could consider something like Lightning Bolt if it's not in his main deck. It's not the most exciting card, but don't tell Patrick Sullivan that.
It's okay. He's not listening anyway.
Correct.
I think in review of the first game, Emery's plays were spot on. Like, he needed to push. He needed to have aggression, and I don't think he had many counter spells, quote unquote, game one anyway. So.
Right. I think he had a Spell Queller in hand, or either that or a Draw Skull Captain, but if he had a Queller, he didn't have the third land, so might as well just put as much power as you can on the board and cross your fingers.
Yeah, Aether Vial can only tick up so fast.
True statement, yeah. So, and maybe Brad was just afforded the opportunity, given that Emery tapped out, but...
If he's got it, he's got it.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you just gotta accept it.
Also, I don't know how Spirits beats 6/6 Trampler.
It's difficult. It's difficult, especially when that 6/6 Trampler's sometimes throwing bolts at your creatures. Prismatic Omen is actually one of the more problematic cards in this matchup, I think.
I hope Emery has Disenchants.
Yeah, I don't know what's effects Spirits have that could involve a disenchant effect. They don't have Reclamation Sage like Elves does, so this could prove a bit difficult.
They did get the new get rid of your graveyard creature.
They did, which I don't know. I guess I don't want to speak out of turn here per se, but I don't know why everybody's so excited about that card. It doesn't seem too powerful.
Thank God it's not a human though. Can
Yeah,
you talk about that?
Yeah. Any card with the card type human should just be eroded to not be human.
Yeah. Or give us a 1-mana card that says creatures of chosen type get -1/-1.
They have that in Legacy, but it costs 3 mana.
Yeah. Engineered Plague, right?
Yeah.
The card is sweet.
It's a very good one. I actually wouldn't mind having that in Modern. It's kind of nice.
Also, the art is great.
Oh yeah, for sure. There's not one. There's one in 7th edition, I think. There's one in 7th in Saga or something like that. That the Saga one's probably the correct one to play, just due for historical sake. But the 7th edition one's sweet.
So we'll get to see what Spirits does on the play here.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what Emery's plan is, other than just kind of put creatures on the table and then eventually, Selfless Spirit something. Doesn't look like he has any sort of land hate per se, but he does have some good effects, things like Spell Queller that will do the job. They don't counter 6 mana cards though.
Oh.
Does counter Summoner's Pact.
For the time being. You know what I mean?
Right. In fact, looking back on it, I do like if Brad brings in bolts here, I think that's correct. Sometimes you just need to buy yourself a little bit of time, bolt a Spell Queller, or do something like that.
Brad's going to scry to the bottom. Flooded Strand pass from Emery. Without the Vial, I don't know if there's many turn 1 plays you can make as Spirits.
Mausoleum Wander being the most proactive one, I suppose.
Yep. Oh, here's a good turn 1.
This is a very good turn 1. Search for Tomorrow is about as good as you can hope for in these decks. Peter, do you have any thoughts on Spirits in the sort of Esper versus Blue-White versus Bant combinations? Which one would you play?
Probably Esper, only because it affords me good sideboard cards that are not Spirits.
What sideboard cards are you interested in?
I mean, we're talking about Thoughtseize.
Oh, sure.
Duress effects. Just something that can interact with my opponent beyond a creature that can die to pretty much anything.
That's fair enough.
You also get Fatal Push to get things out of the way.
Lingering Souls in the main deck is a really
those
common
are
and
Spirits,
powerful
turns
answer.
out.
Yeah. Lingering Souls with a Lord is kind of disgusting.
Ooh.
It's a really powerful effect. Bant, of course, giving you Noble Hierarch and Collected Company, but
I don't know if you want Collected Company. Yeah, like it's a good card, right?
For sure, but like you are warping your mana base a bit to play it, making your mana base much more consistent.
And turn 1, you're also playing not a spirit.
Yeah, Noble Hierarch is not really the most exciting card in that deck, given that it is not a spirit. Much more exciting in humans.
Yeah, absolutely. Here we see the Rattle Chains. Every spirit is now flashable.
True statement. Yeah. Emery drew the Vial. That's one of the reasons why I don't like Vial as much in these lists. You draw it on turn 3, and it's just going to sit in his hand.
And then I think he's just going to pass it back with that.
He's got to draw Skull Cap in his hand as well.
Oh.
So that's likely going to come down, but I'm not sure.
So if he Quellers this Search for Tomorrow, probably worth it.
Maybe. Brad's hand doesn't look like it's that fast. He didn't have a Tribe Elder. So, alright. Emery is going to go ahead and bite on the Queller.
And I think now's the time for that, right? Because, like, you just need to slow him down long enough.
Yeah, I tend to agree, especially if Emery's interested in playing the Draw Skull Captain next turn and getting in for what's going to be 6 points of damage. I definitely like Quellering here. It also protects your Queller to prevent the ramp spell. Trading your cards for Titanshift cards is not an easy task, and this lets him do it. Also, if Brad misses a land drop here, that's going to be
brutal,
disastrous, honestly.
Yeah.
It's
a tap land. That's fine.
All
you know,
right.
that's fine.
Yeah.
Ideally, he's looking for like an Anger, probably.
Almost certainly at this point. That's the best thing he could be doing. Emery shocking. Oh, he wants to play his Vial this turn. That makes sense. Sending him for 4. Not interested in getting in the extra 2 points. It's probably not relevant, so I don't blame him too much.
Pass
also,
the turn.
If something like Anger was to come down, you would not want to have your Lord in play for that.
No. Also, Emery's holding a Negate in hand. This is just like very steady play, right? Like it's very responsible for you to just hold up counter magic.
Yeah.
Sure, you can rebuild your board very easily.
Yeah, Emery's at this point has the Negate if he needs it, but if he doesn't, he does get to flash in Draw Skull Captain and then still hold up his Negate for through his turn and then Brad's next turn. So I don't hate it. The problem is Negate doesn't counter 6/6 Titans, which is just my point through this entire match.
Yeah.
I don't know if Emery has this sideboard card, but I think a sideboard card that Emery should definitely consider in this matchup is Unified Will. Oh, and there's an Anger, and this is where the Negate is going to really shine.
Yep, and I think you have to do this, right? Like
almost certainly, because if Brad gets the Search for Tomorrow back as well, it's kind of disastrous for you.
I understand, like, wanting to hold it for...
Whoa, rethink that one. Mausoleum Wander.
Okay.
Draw Skull Captain.
Okay.
Sack the Wanderer.
Yeah. That's fine. He holds... So... He holds the Negate, right?
This lets Emery get in more damage next turn, I suppose. But I'm not particularly excited. This is going to be 8.
And I think if he had the Lord, that might have been game at that point.
I believe so.
So maybe that's just he's just playing to his outs, right? Like, he doesn't need to play the Negate. Sacking a Mausoleum Wanderer is not a big deal.
Yeah. Alright, since Brad brings Valakut to the table, there's no untapped 6 mana source, so we're looking at probably game 3.
If I'm Brad, I want to be holding a Bolt. 2. Another Anger.
Oh my goodness.
Negate.
Well, the Negate's going to pay off here.
Oh, man. Yep. We'll go to the next one here.
Interesting, it turns out Emery did do it correctly, I guess, given his situation. He was mana efficient, really, is all it was in his previous turn, to play the Mausoleum Wanderer and then the Captain, and then sack the Wanderer. Because if he would have done that play this turn, it actually would not have worked.
That is a very fair statement.
Yeah, so it's interesting, but small margins.
Do you like Bloodbraid Elf in this deck, in Titanshift?
No. Not particularly. The only things you can really hit are, I guess, post-board you can hit Anger, but then all you're hitting is Sakura, Tribe Elder, and Search for Tomorrow. Not really. Prismatic Omen, I guess, but...
And you could cast a Summoner's Pact, but...
You could, and actually it might not be the worst thing in the world, but it's not good.
Yeah, especially when you have to tap out the next turn and you can't play your fatty.
Right. So your Bloodbraid Elf essentially kind of cost you 8.
Gross.
I guess you could choose not to pay.
You could.
Yeah.
You could absolutely
You
do
won't
that.
be playing that game very long, but you very well could. Of course, I saw at a casual game somebody slaughter packed a Dark Confidant, which slaughter pack says non-black creature. And then they just didn't pay next turn, and the game kept going. So nobody caught it. Everybody was just not paying attention.
You know, the rules are strange on a kitchen table. It's
everybody just kind of does what they think is correct.
Sometimes you just want to play sweet cards.
It's true. 0 mana kill spells.
I see a turn 1 search and a fetch land, so I think this hand is very keepable.
Yeah, if there's no second land, it's...
I think his second hand is Valakut.
A second land in hand is Valakut?
Yeah. It's loose.
Yeah,
it's loose.
It's not ideal. We're on a keeper. Brad thinks it's good enough.
Oh, he's just going to fetch a land and pass.
Yeah. Interesting.
All right.
I guess he could still be suspending if they're trying to speed up play for us. Yep.
Wonderful. How kind of you, sirs.
It's totally not confusing from the booth.
Absolutely not. Here we see a turn 1 Aether Vial from Emery.
Yeah, both these players. This just kind of shows how important mana is in Magic. Vial, essentially a mana source. Search Tomorrow, mana ramp. Both these players trying to aggressively find mana. Ooh, looks like the second Valakut in hand for.
That's really
Brad
bad
as well.
beats.
Yeah, his hand's going to be slow. The nice thing is this Search Tomorrow is going to come off suspend, and it will not be spell quellered.
No, but it might be remanded.
If Emery has remand, that's pretty rough for Brad. Looks like it's not going to be, though. Oh, maybe it is. This also means Emery's not playing to the board this turn, which is not great, but if Brad draws a land, he can actually just cast the Search for Tomorrow again.
Yeah, I think that was kind of a greedy play by Emery. Like, that remand really needed to be for anything else.
Yeah.
I understand at some point you want to disrupt his, like mana manipulation and...
Right.
I don't know.
I don't disagree with the remand per se, but it could look silly here. And it's going to... Maybe not. Maybe it's just Steve. Oh, Broken Bond.
Yeah!
Oh, whoa.
Blown out.
This is a very, very sweet
Put a
one.
land into play, dude.
That's way better than Search for Tomorrow. Blow a Vial. Oh, man. This is going to set Emery back quite a bit, actually. Emery does have quite a few lands in hand, but he will not be able to deploy his spells in a sort of rapid-fire succession.
Most assuredly, that was the play of the game.
Yeah, that's a very strong one. I've thought about Broken Bond a little bit in like my Rug Shift deck, but unfortunately, one, there's just not that many good ways to do it, and two, you don't always have a land in hand, so it can be kind of awkward.
It can be. The problem is it's also sorcery speed, so like...
Yeah, if it was not a sorcery, I'd be much more interested. Brad will just have this bolt.
Tell me you have a bolt. Please.
We'll just have this bolt. Okay, never have it. They never don't not have it.
4th land, get in with Queller.
Emery prides himself on being the fastest card player in the West. Midwest.
So let's see. Draw for turn.
Yeah,
Bolt.
That's the bolt.
Here. Show me another one.
A Rattle Chains? Rattle Chains is kind of disgusting.
So it needs to have another one?
Farseek. Negate? Really?
This is very aggressive counter magic here.
Yeah, Emery's clock isn't that good. It's only 4 a turn, which is reasonable, but the Rattle Chains actually allows Emery to play a really interesting game of just send in and pass.
Yep.
Looks like what he's going to do. And to be fair, this is the exact point in time that Emery wants to be at. This is the kind of game he wants to play. Oh, here's a Bloodbraid Elf.
Can't counter that.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
Wham, wham. Search?
Search?
Sure.
It's one of the more least threatening things you can have with Bloodbraid Elf. That's one of the reasons that I don't love Bloodbraid Elf in this deck, is that it's just a 3-2 that doesn't mean a lot, that goes and gets a mountain. Sakura Tribuilder's a pretty sweet hit, but other than that, I'm not too interested.
Yeah. I mean, he's one land away from casting Primetime.
Yeah, true statement.
Primetime probably gets
probably not more Valakutes. All right. Lord End of Turn is pretty big game.
all
And a
right.
Selfless Spirit.
This might be it.
So
Untapped
this
draw.
represents a lot of damage in the air. There's nothing that Brad's going to be able to do. Moorland Haunt? This is 3, 6, 9. Dang, you're fine. 10, I believe. 10 damage.
So close.
Yeah.
Untapped draw. Do you
Alright,
have
alright.
Damnation? Anger's not gonna. You need two
Anger,
Angers back to back.
Anger would do well here, actually.
Bloodbrain.
I wish
Yeah.
Brad would have swung first in case he hits Anger.
Oh,
No, he has to.
get Steve.
Yeah, Screw Tri-Boulder, not great here.
No, it's not.
We have 2 Valakutes on the battlefield, so nothing's turned on. That'll be game.
So the very aggressive counter magic did end up paying off in the long run.
Yeah, looked like it, I guess. I don't know how much I love Negate in this matchup. It's pretty good early. I don't love it late, but it makes sense. Looks like Emery does have Unified Will. So it's a card I'm very interested in. Eidolon of Rhetoric seems pretty poor.
Probably for the Bloodbraids, right? Like,
I don't know how much he cares, but I see what you're saying.
right. Like, if you have nothing else to bring in, you might as well bring in another spirit, right?
Yeah, and it could be one of those things where, I don't know, he just has a bunch of stuff he needs to take out.
It also forces spirits to be, like, very off-tempo. Because even if
Right.
you have the mana, you can't flash 2 dudes in.
Right. So, pretty good game. Interesting to see. You did see the power of Prismatic Elm in game 1 and just allowing to combo on 6 lands with Shift.
Yeah. And then Broken Bond.
Broken Bond was so sweet that game. Unfortunately, we were not able to capitalize on it. Brad having 2 tap lands in Valakut actually ended up hurting him more than we would care to admit. And actually, the real sort of play of that game for me was the Spellqueller hitting the Search Tomorrow and then the Bolt getting Unified Will.
Blown out.
Yeah, it was a really sort of swingy moment there. The Broken Bond was another swingy moment, but Brad unable to capitalize.
Absolutely. Well, we will see you back for round number 3.